and welcome to the Shoot, Reload, Repeat podcast. I am your host, Practical as Buck, and I am sitting down finally after a couple month hiatus with my my lovely co-host, Charles, aka Dad.
Good evening from the 806.
So we are just excited that we could jump on and make a podcast here because this is Dad's first Dad's first match in over a year since 2019. So, or since I guess the end of 2019, he didn't shoot at all really during 2020. So we're going to talk about that. Kind of talk about what's been going on. I have a couple of people that have talked about maybe being on the podcast. James Tate reached out to me about a month or so ago talking about dry fire. So maybe we can get him on here and talk about that. So that's kind of what we got for you guys. So it has been the beginning of the year 2021, the new year since that we've made a podcast. So if you've been a loyal listener, I appreciate it. If you're a new listener, welcome. Hopefully we'll keep you entertained for the amount of time that we talk about stuff. So why don't you kind of talk about what's been going on with you?
Well, to start with, we had a match yesterday, but there was a couple there. This was my first match I got to wear my jersey to. And this lady came up to me and was asking me all about it. So I was telling her, and I told her we had a podcast and they're going to tune in this week. So hopefully we got 2 new listeners coming.
That's good.
But yes, I shot my first match yesterday. Our club's been having several since January, but I was kind of crippled up there for a couple of months, so I couldn't participate yesterday.
Yeah.
Extremely rusty. It was a steel challenge. It wasn't a USPSA match, but hey, at this point, I'll take what I can just to get a little bit of time.
Get a little bit of trigger time.
Yeah,
the whole COVID thing has been pretty tough.
It has, and very rusty. I'm just going to haul off and say it, just very rusty. Halfway through the match, I started doing something a little bit goofy with my gun, with my grip. I don't know why I started doing it that way now, but I started thinking about it, and in the middle of the shots, started adjusting my grip. So more dry fire practice to come this week.
Yeah, I didn't shoot at all since I guess before I started shooting this year in 2021. My last match was in like March of 2020, and then COVID kind of happened. The matches were canceled, and then I shot I guess a USPSA crossfire match in June. And after that, I got a new job. Didn't have a whole lot of time to work, so I'm really happy. I was just looking at practice score. Since January, I've shot 4 matches. I shot 3 locals and the shootout, the River State shootout, which is basically like a local, but a little bit bigger, a little bit longer, I guess you would consider. I consider it a 1.5 level match because it's not quite a level 2 match. It doesn't have that, equipment check with checking equipment and chrono, but the stages are probably better than most level 2 matches, or on par with most level 2 matches. So I did that. My big focus I'm doing this year, and I started doing it since I guess we started talking on our last podcast. I don't think I mentioned it. Was I started doing a lot of target focus shooting, where instead of staring at my front sight, I'm looking at a spot on the target, letting those sights kind of be blurry, the front sight and rear sight be blurry, and shooting like that. And I shot every match I've shot since February. I shot like that, and I've had some success with it. And you'd be surprised how fast you can shoot and how easy it is to transition your gun shooting target.
So you're saying instead of focusing so much on the sights, you're focusing on the target with your blurred out gun in front of you.
Yeah. So basically, like if I'm shooting at a target, all I see is like kind of like a mirage. I don't want to say like blurry, but it's almost like a mirage of the sights. And if I see that they're lined up, I'll shoot. I'll squeeze the trigger. On tighter shots, I typically have a little bit more. I line them up a little bit more, have a little bit more confirmation. But like on close stuff, open stuff that's really kind of close, I just see the color of the fiber and I pull the trigger, and it's worked out for me. On steel, I need to work a little bit on steel with it a little bit, but it's been a focus of my thing I've been wanting to do. I think it also helps me move through the stages better because I'm not sitting there, closing one eye or because if I close one eye, that's really the only way I can really focus on that front sight to make it really clear. And having to close my eye and open my eye, running around the stage like Popeye with one eye closed was kind of hard. So, but you could try it in your dry fire. What I suggest doing is in your dry fire, either putting a dot or what I did on my dry fire targets is I took a pin and I poked holes in them like where shots would be. Like, so I put like 2 in each alpha zone. They're kind of like spread out. And so that's what I stare at when I do my transition. I look at that spot on the target, and then that's what I transition to. And that's kind of what I use. So you just can't look at the target. You can't just see the brown. It helps if you look at like a specific spot. So like when you do like a walkthrough or whatever, you're looking at that, hey, that one paster that's on there or whatever. So
there's a guy that is new to the club. He's been in it for about a little over a year. Of course, I hadn't been shooting, but I can't remember. He's a grandmaster in one of the divisions. I'm not sure which one. And now he changed divisions. He's trying to do it again. But the guy was always spitting out advice. Like if you're going to shoot somebody in the face, you don't stare at the whole head. You stare at their nose.
Right.
That's kind of funny that he was mentioning that yesterday, and then you're talking about this today. So it sunk in. He also has a great safety speech before you shoot. He said we're all here to have a good time and all that, but our most important goal is that everybody goes home with no holes.
The same holes they came with.
Yeah, no extra holes. But that's interesting, though. It's funny how I heard that same situation from him, and then you mentioned that, so I'm going to work on that. You know how the front of the trigger guard on the Glock is kind of, I guess you'd say, serrated?
Yes. Some checkering or whatever.
Yeah, where like some people actually put their finger on that part, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, when I was shooting, that serration was rubbing between my first and second knuckle on my middle finger. And I've never gripped a gun like that before. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it was annoying as crap. And I was like, why am I doing this? Why do I do that? So one time I just stopped shooting and fixed my grip right quick, which the times show that. But hey, I wasn't trying to win records yesterday. I was just trying to get the rust knocked off.
Yeah, that's one thing I worked on. I guess during COVID and stuff was changing my grip, getting my hand more underneath. I guess a couple of weeks ago, I joined the Practical Shooting Training Group, which is like a online resource where you can join. They have all kinds of videos, and I've been watching an article, and I've been watching some videos on grip, and I realized that I had some space between like the frame and my support hand, my left hand. And I also had a little bit of gap where my support hand met my knuckles. So I adjusted that a little bit. Really, my big problem right now is like I'm doing this target focus shooting, and I think I'm focusing sometimes so much on that. I tend to grip lighter than I should instead of just continually cushioning my grip. So I think grip is always one of those things that you're gonna have to practice. And when you do your dry fire, you should be gripping the gun as hard as you can. That way, it's kind of built into your subconscious, so that way you don't have to think about doing it all the time.
Muscle memory. What was the name of that deal you were on?
So it's by Ben Stilger and Joel Park. They created it. It's called Practical Shooting Training Group. Basically, it's like a membership thing. There's different tiers. So there's like bronze, silver, and gold. I joined the silver one because it's like $25 a month. There's like hundreds and hundreds of articles and videos and all kinds of stuff on there. It's actually pretty good. With the silver or the bronze membership, it's all you get is access to their to stuff. And then I think the silver membership, the next level up, you can submit, get all the videos and everything. And then you can submit one match video or one like I guess practice session or drill that you shot, and they'll provide you feedback and kind of tell you what you're doing right, what you're doing wrong. And then I think that one's like $40 a month, and then the gold is $50 a month. And they kind of like set up like your personalized. They're basically like online coaching you, and you send in your match video and your practice video. They're giving you feedback, and they're basically like online coaching. So I'm happy with bronze membership for now. It kind of when I'm doing the dishes or just sitting around the house or doing work or something at the office, I'll put my headphones in and I'll turn on a video or I'll turn on one of the podcasts and listen to it while I'm working, and it just kind of extra instead of surfing Instagram or whatever. I can just jump on Practical Shooting Training Group and I can learn something, instead of trying to be somewhat proactive doing things like that. So check them out.
For
I don't know.
aluminum?
Huh?
What do you get for
For
the aluminum?
They'll let you watch the first part of the video. I don't have any like affiliation with them, but I just I like the service. I think it's really cool. I've heard them talk about it before on Ben Silver's podcast, so I said, pull the trigger. I'll try it and see if I like it.
Shooting reference. I like that.
So yeah, but yeah, the season's going pretty good. I don't think I'm gonna. I haven't really talked to you, but there's only really two majors that are in Texas this year. One of them is in a couple weeks at Odessa, which is Dragons Cup by Team Motley, and that match is going to be pretty good. There's going to be a lot of good people there. And then the other one is Double Tap, which is in May, which I think is like May 8th, but that's the same weekend as Mother's Day weekend. So I don't know about you, but I'm probably not going to shoot either one of those matches.
Well, I'm not going to shoot the one in Odessa, and now I think I need to stay here for Mother's Day.
So we'll
you would think those guys would think about that a little bit.
Well, I don't know if there's any. I think all the squads are Friday, Saturday. It's an 11 stage match. So, but I don't think any majors are in the future for myself. At least this year, maybe 2022. I would like to try to shoot that Dragons Cup because they say that the stages are really good and the trophies are pretty badass. They're like these metal dragons, so that's pretty cool. So if you have the opportunity to win a trophy, which I don't know if I would, but if I could, that'd be pretty sweet to have. So, and I think that their price table is really good. Like there's lots of gun giveaways and primers and all kinds of stuff. So.
I keep getting them monthly emails for the one at Carlsbad.
Have you shot that one yet?
No. Kicking around once I get back to 100% with my knee, thinking about it. That'd be a pretty cool weekend. Just run off down there on a Friday and shoot, tour lovely Carlsbad,
and then come back. Yeah, I'm probably not going to do a whole lot of shooting this next month. My daughter's first birthday is next month, so use that time to get for her birthday party. So I probably won't shoot it all in April, but May through June-ish, July, I'm going to try to shoot as much as I can. So get it in before work starts heavy again. So
our next match is a steel challenge. It's that fundraiser for a scholarship. I'm going to skip that one. Wait till they have a regular USPSA match. Go shoot that. Me and you were talking about, yesterday was a steel challenge. but I just wanted to go bust some caps and just kind of knock the rust off and all that. But I really don't like steel challenges.
Those challenges, it's, I don't know. I think it's a good place to start. I shot one field challenge match when I first was trying to find my path in competitive shooting. After I shot that 3 gun match, I shot that field challenge match, and it was all right. I think it's kind of like IDPA where it has like a real low barrier to entry. There's a bunch of different divisions. You don't even, for some divisions, you don't even need a holster. You can just hold the gun at low ready. All you need is the gun, magazines, and some ammo, which the ammo part might be hard to find nowadays, but, uh, it's really, really simple. And there's a bunch of divisions. There's like 13 or something divisions and still challenge. But I think it's good if you want to get your kids involved early, you can
We
get them
had a
with,
lot of kids at this match. It was cool. A
yeah.
lot of
And
kids, and a lot of them were shooting, 22 rifles. But yeah, that I really liked that getting the kids involved. But in my squad, there was only me and another guy shooting real handguns. There was
what is your definition of a real handgun?
anything above a 380.
Oh, so everybody was shooting like rimfire stuff or
Yeah, there was a that guy was shooting open with his 40, and then there was a lady that had a pistol, but she was shooting a 22. Two ladies were shooting 22 pistols, and then everybody else was shooting either carbines or 1022 stuff like that. Which brings me to my rant. Our PCC rant. This match started at 10 a.m. We only had 5 stages. I think I called you what about 2:15?
yeah, when you told me you had one stage left, I was like, oh, he's gonna be done in like an hour, at least an hour, maybe less than an hour.
Oh my
And
God.
that was not the case.
Well, if a person wants to shoot PCC, I'm all for it. But what kills me, like with us that run the handguns, we've got all the crap on our belt. When it's our turn, we walk up to the box, all our crap's together. But you got to wait for them to go get their scabbard with the rifle in it. They got to set the scabbard on the barrel. They got to take it out, got to take the plug out, get it all ready, then shoot it. And then you can't make the range clear till they get all their crap back together, put the plug back in it, put it back in the scabbard, zip it up. It's like, oh my God, I wish they would change the rules a little bit where you could just John Wayne up there holding the weapon at a safe way and let's go, you know. But I don't know. That was what was absolutely killing me.
So my question is that a US or not? It's USPSA or still challenge rule, or is that a club rule? Because the way we do it, like they do it down here at Alpha Mike or River City, is if a guy has PCC, what he'll do is he'll go to the safe area, he'll take his gun out of the bag, but he'll hold it up or hold it down. Usually they hold them up and they're flagged, and then he doesn't have to do any of that with the bag at the match. He doesn't have to go to a safe area or whatever.
So
He just
once he unloads
walks
and
up.
shows clear, he puts the flag back in it and goes back to the safe area.
Yeah, he holds it up. He holds it up in the safe direction, and he walks the safe area and puts it back in the bag.
That is a good question. I may have to look that up because that was horrible.
Yeah, that's really inefficient because that just takes too long. And like, little challenge is one of those sports where you shoot, they shoot, they shoot, they shoot, they shoot their 4 or 5 strings, and then all you have to do to reset is go spray paint. It takes, it's not like USPSA where you're pasting and you're scoring targets and you're, doing all that. And typically people don't miss a plate because they're going to shoot at it. They're not. You're not resetting swingers or anything like that. So that's interesting. I would look that up. Maybe that could be something you bring up in the meeting because
Yeah.
that's just inefficient, and that's going to make your match go long.
Okay, I posted on Instagram yesterday about me breaking out my range wagon one more time. And if anybody has seen that and looked on the back of my loading table, they can see my brass receptacle. Uh, I had a couple walk up to me while I was reloading, and the female told me, "That's really neat. What's it for?" And I told her, "Well, I put my brass in there." And she kind of whispered something to her husband, and he nodded. And I go, "What was that?" And he goes, "Oh, I was telling her that no, they asked me if I made it. Let me back up." And I said, "No, my father-in-law made it." And she whispered to him, and he goes, "That's right." And I go, "What'd you say?" And he goes, "Oh, he made it out of deer hide." I started laughing. I said, "No, this is made from a bull." And he goes, "Oh," he looked at his wife and he goes, "Oh, it's bull hide." And I said, "Yeah, kinda." And they were kind of hem hawing around. They had no idea what it was. Well, to our listening audience, it's a scrotum sac off of a bull that's been dried. And it makes a great receptacle for brass, anything you could imagine. And they were totally shocked that's what it was.
That's pretty funny.
He looked at me and he said, "So you're telling me there's no seams on it?" And I said, "That is correct. It was already a sack. It's just been stretched and dried." So I educated somebody a little bit yesterday.
That's interesting. Yeah, I think people. It's kind of funny because we don't ever know what that is. You'd have to go check it out because it does make a pretty good brass receptacle. I wonder how many pieces of brass you could put in there.
Oh, a lot. I didn't range chicken much yesterday since I have
I
a lot of brass.
I going to right now. I typically in like June and July when it's really hot. I usually don't pick up brass because it gets so freaking hot down here in South Texas, and for some reason we don't start shooting. We don't ever change our hours. Like I wish we would change have summer hours and shoot at 9 o'clock in the summer because then we get out earlier. We'd be out by around noon instead of like 1:30 or 2. Because man, I've shot some matches down here and it has been like 105, 110, and it's just freaking hot. So I've been picking up lots of brass just to pick it up. I was lucky enough to score some primers a few weeks ago. So I was able to get 5,000 CCIs. So I finally finished up on all my Winchester primers. I'm not ever going to buy Winchester primers again when I have the ability to pick and choose what I want to buy. They just in that Dylan sometimes like they don't seat right, and I can show you a picture later, but like they don't seat into the brass very good, and they kind of get like squished in there. So you basically waste that primer. But the CCIs, knock on wood, I haven't really had that problem. So far, I've only loaded probably about 200 of them, but I got a bunch of my DG bullets loaded up. Because we're kind of talking about reloading, guys. If you have been trying to use my code for DG bullets during all the COVID and all that, they suspended our codes because they were so. I think they were just so far behind, or they're not as far behind as some bullet companies, but they were just so far behind they were unable to do that. So if you were trying to use my code Buck10, that's not probably going to work. Once it goes live again, I'll probably post about it on Instagram. We'll let y'all know on here so that way y'all can get those discount on those bullets. But yeah, I think the TCRs are going to run smooth, so we'll see. I want to try to get more bullets and load some more up so that way I just have them.
I used a lot of rounds yesterday, and that's the other thing that chapped my behind. Uh, just we had one. I don't know. I swear to God, when you were shooting at it, it looked like a 4-inch plate. It was bigger than that, but everybody was struggling with that one. I think I threw 6 rounds at it one time before I finally hit it. But hey, speaking of things taking a long time, I had a guy come up and sit down with me. Next week, they're going to try to do a match that's a 22 rifle, 50-yard bench rest. And he was talking to me, and he said, if I can get this set up, you want to shoot it? And I said, I don't know. Talk to me about it. You have 25 minutes to shoot 25 rounds.
Wow.
You've known me for a long time. Your daddy does not have that kind of patience.
That's that's gonna take all freaking day.
But your target is about the size of a post-it. That's how it's scored.
Oh well, then you might need that time, I guess.
Well, even if I had the most badass scope on my 22, I'm not going to sit there for 25 minutes shooting 25 rounds. I don't
Yeah,
know.
that's what.
But I got to thinking, I hope he sets up like 3 or 4 tables. Because you think about it, you're looking at a minimum of 30 minutes between shooters because you got to get everybody to sit down, get ready, and all that. That's going to
Yeah, that's
take
ridiculous.
forever.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it. That does not sound like fun.
But I thought, yeah, cool. It goes, no, you got 25 minutes, shoot 25 rounds. Well, I wouldn't take the 25 minutes, but knowing my luck, everybody in front of me is.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you do when you sit down at the table? You set your timer on your phone so you know how much time you got? And I don't
Yeah, I
know.
would just like I'll go first and then just leave after you shoot. Yeah, let me know how it goes.
Yeah. And besides all that, I don't want to have to put a scope on one of my 22s because everybody's going to be running a scope. If you try to iron sight it, which,
Yeah, you'll probably lose.
yeah.
You'll probably get
So,
some of those like big match guns that they shoot like in 4-H and stuff like that. Probably
well,
get some of those out
you know
there.
that one I bought Bear when he was in 4-H. That one is slick. It's a CZ, and it's awesome with just iron sights, man. I've won some Masonic shooting events with that one at 50 yards. It is slick, but I don't really want to put a scope on it. I don't know if I ever showed you that rifle.
I don't think I've ever seen it.
It's a bolt action single shot.
That's pretty cool.
Because when you're doing the match guns, you're only firing one round at a time anyway. But it is so smooth that your strong hand, your right hand, when you shoot, you take your index finger and you can move the bolt back without ever moving the gun, and then put the bolt back down.
Well, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah, I've bought that one used, and man, when I figured out what it was, I gave them $145, and out the door we went.
Well, speaking of CZs, I uh I
Hey, you
just
like that
bought
segue?
a it's pretty good.
Yeah.
I just bought a new limited gun. I bought a CZ Tactical Sport in 40 from a guy, and I haven't got it yet. I think they had some trouble shipping it or something like that. So I should probably have it either Tuesday or Wednesday, hopefully this week. And I'm gonna should be a really nice gun. I've been thinking about doing the going to 2011 route, but honestly, I can't afford a 2011. I can't afford to spend more than 2 grand or 20 or 3,000 or $5,000 or $6,000 on a gun. And then another thing with the 2011 mags, they're about 100 bucks, $120 a pop. I can get these CZ mags for basically like $70 a pop. So I think this gun's going to be pretty good for me. The thing I'm most excited about is just the additional weight. I think the gun weighs about 49 ounces. and it's a single action gun, so the trigger is going to be nice and it'll be easier to tune the trigger. So my little Glock 22 I've been running for the last year. Today was its last match, and on the last stage I had a couple malfunctions. I think they were magazine related, but I think the gun knew it was its last stage. So um, I'll get once I get the gun, I'm definitely gonna post some pictures, and I'm gonna have about a month to get my equipment squared away, and just getting to learn the gun. It's gonna be fun learning the gun, so I'm excited about it.
I'm waiting for you to get it too.
Yeah, what I like about it is on this like a CZ or a Tempo, it uses grip panel, so you can easily adjust the grip panels. Um, I was gonna build the 2011 with a steel grip, but I guess my biggest fear is if I didn't like the contour of the grip, um, once it's fitted to the slide and stuff, you're kind of up a creek. So at least with the CZ, I can buy different grips. I can buy, like metal grips, or I can buy, Lock G10 grips, or I can have palm swell grips or thin grips or whatever, and I can kind of fit the gun to my hand. So I'm excited about it. Y'all will be hearing about it. So we'll see how it runs with my ammo and everything. Hopefully, all that goes well because I have a lot of ammo, a decent amount of ammo loaded. So hopefully it'll run. We'll see. So, um, but yeah, so that is I don't know. Is there anything else you're going to talk about?
No, like I said, I think we knocked the dust off, or I did at the range. I think we're knocking the dust off the podcast. Maybe we need to kind of start
Yeah,
doing
I
these a
think
little bit more.
yeah, maybe we can put out questions, or maybe we haven't had a guest on, and let me see. Let me pull up the podcast feed. It's been a while since we've had a guest on. I feel like we could do that. I think the last guest we had on was Matt from Excellent Labs. Um,
We need to get him back on because I've been Instagramming him some great ideas that I found other uses for his material.
Now I can tell you that Excellent Lab stuff, it works so good because, and I might be biased because they're a sponsor, but I really like their stuff. And like I threw some of their Echo 2.5 on my Glock before that shootout, and that was right before just a couple weeks ago. And last night I took the gun apart to just to lube it up, and all the parts were still wet. It just has such good. Um, it doesn't burn off. A lot of times you get lube, you throw it on a gun, you lube your gun up, it burns off on that stage or the next stage. So it's pretty nice. Yeah. So that's the first one we had was Matt, and that was on April 2nd. So maybe we can have somebody on.
I think we
Talk to a
can.
couple people. Yeah, we get somebody on there and go from there. So, thank you guys for listening. Go check out our sponsors. Red Hill Tactical is a sponsor of ours. My code changed for them, and I updated it as Buck10 2020. Apparently, some of the codes got messed up. So if you've been trying to use my code, it is Buck10 2020. Go get yourself a holster or a belt, one of their belts. I'm thinking about trying out one of their belts. Uh, Excellent Labs, Buck10, give you 10%. Go get yourself some bright contacts, get your guns cleaned up, get yourself some Echo 2.5 to get that gun lubed up, or some Alpha Soft. They also make some fishing lube, which I got for a couple of my buddies, and they tried it out and they liked it. And then I think they also have some bike products. So if you're into cycling, things like that, if you like to wear stretchy pants, you can get you some of that for your bike.
I
And then
guarantee
Cane
you.
Arms.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead. Talk about what are you gonna say. It's always
Well, that Echo 2.5. Oh my God! I found more
yeah,
uses for it in my workshop.
yeah. Maybe we can
I
have him on and
huh?
talk to him about it. Maybe we can get him back on. He can talk to him about it.
Oh yeah. I mean, man, he needs they need to make me their poster child for a little bit because if it's supposed to move and it doesn't move, I put it on there and it works.
Yeah, that's good. I would say that's a good use for it. Then the last couple sponsors, Cane Arms, SRR10 will save you 10%. Did your mag Did your mag pouches run? Did your mags run good with those mag pouches?
They did. They did. I even had some folks coming up to me and asking me about them. So I
Well,
was
there you go. Maybe
not
we'll.
only had them on my jersey, I was being a lovely co-host and explaining to them. And
Good.
you'll be happy to know that now that I've got weighted mags, I've stopped the wrist flick.
Oh, good. I've been having trouble with my mags coming out, but I think it's because all the pro grip I get on my hands. I think it gets on my mags and they get stuck. So, and then DG Bullets. I don't have a code. My code does not currently work for them, so check out DG Bullets. And thank you guys for listening. If you listen to this on Apple Podcasts, make sure you give us a 5-star review. Even if you don't like us, you can leave us a crappy comment on the review. Just give us 5 stars so that way other people can find us. So,
And we love your feedback. We will be happy to argue with you.
yes, yes. I always like to read those reviews on here. Um, even if they are negative, they make for good podcasting. So that's all we got for you guys. Shoot fast and don't.
Good night.